Hey, what's up, everybody? Happy Friday. It's June 20th. Welcome back to another episode of BizBuzz Live. I'm your host, Chris Muzan. We're talking about all things finance. Today, we've been talking about these soft skills, that people are going to need to stay employable. That's what we've been talking about over the past few BizBuzzes. We're going to continue the conversation today, so stick around. All right, everybody. What's up? Welcome back to another episode of BizBuzz Live. I'm your host, Chris Muzan. Again, talking all things finance. Been helping people through their financial journey for quite some time now, and wanted to be able to share this important part of people's financial journey with you guys here on LinkedIn and YouTube. Feel free to follow me on all the other platforms. Feel free, again, if you're watching this on YouTube, to subscribe to the channel. You're going to get much more content around entrepreneurship and money and all the things to get our lives to the place that we want them. And again, feel free to reach out to me here on LinkedIn as well. Always open to having some conversations and masterminding some ideas. I got distracted. Masterminding some ideas that can continue to help our lives. But as always, the reason we started this show, y'all, BizBuzz, is because after dealing with people financially for quite some time, whether it's their investments or their insurance or their savings or debt or estate plan or whatever it is that they're coming to us having a conversation about, ultimately it comes back to their cash flow. It comes back to how are they choosing to bring in income? How are they choosing to make money? And that conversation isn't always spoken about. We know after the money comes in, whether people have a job, whether they own a business, whether they're in the gig economy, whether they're just scraping by, living off of parents, still in school, part-time job, like whatever it is, that part we kind of take for granted. We say, okay, that's how you're making money. And then once you have the money, now there's all this plethora of information. Here's how to budget. Here's the 50-30-20 rule. Here's how much you should be saved. Here's how to pay off your debt faster. Here's how to make sure you put it into the right IRA account or Roth account or cash value account, or right, here's how to protect it. Like, we have all these strategies and things and conversations around what happens after the money comes in. But what I noticed a while back was that we weren't having the conversations around how do we get the money? How do we earn the money? How does it come in? And that's where a lot of people are struggling is, hey, I'm not bringing in enough money. My job doesn't have the horsepower to pay me all that I want. It pays me an okay living, but cost of everything is going up and I just don't bring in enough. Me and my spouse, 2-person household, we feel like we should have enough money. We both have pretty good jobs. We make over 6 figures. We're in the $200,000 range in our household. But it still feels like we're paycheck to paycheck. We have, $40,000 in debt, and, kids' college isn't saved for. We just don't have it coming in. Other people that, again, just maybe in the gig economy and it's not as consistent. But we want to have the conversations around how do we bring in more money? How do we bring in more? Like, if there's only so low you can budget, which I agree, there's only so low you can go in your budgeting. There's only so low you can go in your expenses without completely shifting your quality of life, which many of you need to do, right? Many of us need to change our quality of life and get used to something that's lives below our means. But many people just aren't in that place to sacrifice that much to change their quality of life, meaning sell their house, move to a different location, get a less nicer car, change out their utilities, use less of things. Like, most people don't want to change that part. But if they don't want to change that part, which you don't have to, then you got to figure out a way to bring in more. And if you don't have the education behind how to bring in more, it makes it tough, right? It makes the whole process tough. So that's what we're talking about. And we're talking about whether you choose to go get a second job, a third job, whether you choose to start a business, whether you choose to leave your job completely, be a full entrepreneur, whether you see an idea that could work, whether there's a need in the marketplace, like whatever the reasons are as to why you're going to go move into this next industry, the next phase, you got to understand kind of what is needed. And so we've been talking about this over the past 4 or 5 weeks or so. The World Economic Forum posted this at the beginning of the year, these core skills that people are going to need to stay employable over the next 10 years, over the next 7 to 10 years. These are the skills that people are going to need. And I started on this list because the initial thought was, man, this is just turning people into entrepreneurs. Like they put out this list so that you could go get a job, so that you could still be employable in 5 years, and you're not completely what's the word, um, right, outskilled, so to speak, right? You're not completely behind the eight ball when it comes to your skill sets. So they put this out to make sure this is what you need to have to be employable so that jobs look at you. And when I read this list, I was like, man, that's what you need to be a great entrepreneur too, to start a business, to be able to grow a business, right? If you have some of the sales and marketing kind of understanding, and you have a good industry that has a good supply and demand arbitrage, right? Like there's not a ton of people doing it and you see a need for it, you can build a business. But then they added on these core skills that they say you're going to need. And the core skills were analytical thinking, creative thinking, resilience, flexibility, and agility, motivation and self-awareness, curiosity and lifelong learning, technological literacy, dependability and attention to detail, empathy and active listening, leadership and social influence, and then quality control. Those were the 10 core skills, and they're like softer skills that people are going to need. This is from the World Economic Forum, that you're going to need to stay employable. But when I looked at all of these, like I said, these are the same skills you need to run a business. These are the same character traits, personality things that you need to be successful at running a business. Analytical thinking, being able to have crucial skills, right? Like a crucial skill in analyzing information and solving complex problems. That's all we do as entrepreneurs. We're just solving problems. The bigger the problem, the more money we make, right? That's the way it goes. The analytical thinking is important. They want you to have that for a job. You could use that for yourself. Creative thinking, your ability to innovate, get new ideas. That is what most businesses are built off of, but they want you to have that as well. Resilience, flexibility, and agility, the ability to bounce back, the ability to hit a low and then bounce back. Sure, they might want you to have that at your job, but that would serve you very well if you ran a business. Motivation and self-awareness. How well do you know you? How much can you motivate yourself to do things that you need to do? This is the beginning of personal growth, personal development, proactive behavior. Again, they want you to have this for a job, but if you had that skill set anyway, you would be able to use that for yourself. Curiosity and lifelong learning. We talked about this, I think it was last week, it might have been the week before, but this is important. You wanting to continue to upgrade your skills, continuous skill development, continuous adaptability, your curiosity, always saying, hey, I'm curious about that over there. They want you to have this to have a job. Again, if you're going to go get all these skills, you might as well start a business. Your ability to be curious and a lifelong learner will serve you very well as an entrepreneur. Technological literacy, understanding AI, understanding and leveraging technology effectively. Those things are important. The two we're talking about today, empathy and active listening, and leadership and social influence. Empathy and active listening, and leadership and social influence. Now, I put these two together because I felt like they are two that these are soft skills that go hand in hand. Your empathy and active listening ability, crucial to your success. World Economic Forum is saying it's crucial to your success to have a job. I say it's crucial to your success in life. Empathy and active listening. Empathy, the ability to put yourself in one's shoes and feel what they could feel in that place, right? Like having care and consideration for people. Active listening, Is just what the word says, active listening. Most people are not active listeners anymore. So how do we do these things? What are some ways that we can practice empathy and active listening? First and foremost, number one, I'm gonna give you 5 areas, 5 ways to improve our active listening and empathy. Number one, put away distractions when someone else is speaking. Active listening is not passive listening, obviously. That's why the word active is there. If it's active listening, that means it's a action. You are doing something. Passive listening is you're doing something different and you're overhearing. So, how do we get to active listening? Well, first, you have to not be distracted by things. When other people are speaking, when there's other things happening around you, you can't be distracted. Put your phone down, turn the TV off, actively listen to someone. Had a good mentor a while back, used to always turn his ear to show that he's actively listening. So you and I are having a conversation. You start talking. He would turn his ear. So his ear was in the direction of the person, not because he was hard of hearing, because he was demonstrating active listening. It's not active when you're, oh, I got you. Oh, okay, yeah. That's not active. You're passively listening. But saying intently, turning my head will help you actively listen. I learned that a long time ago. You got to put away distractions when someone's speaking. Second thing, listen to understand, not to respond. This is more like marriage counseling, right? Again, this is why I said empathy and active listening will help you in all the areas of your life. This could be a relationship talk. We've heard that in marriage counseling a bunch. Listen, right? Actively listen to understand. Don't listen just to respond. Listen to understand. I'm listening so I can understand what you're saying. I'm not listening just to get my point out, just to respond. This is how you learn. These are things you practice to become an active listener. Third thing, notice nonverbal cues. Practice nonverbal cues, right? So a lot of this active listening is a form of communication. Communication is a two-way street. One person talks, one person listens, or one person talks and many people listen. But you have to start to notice nonverbal cues, tonality, body language. Those are the types of things, facial expressions. Those are things that really allow us to communicate. They say that 93% of listening, of communicating, 93% of communicating is tonality and body language. Only 7% are the actual words that we're saying. Only 7% is actually what's coming out of your mouth. All the rest of it is tonality and body language. So you learning how to communicate and you learning how to actively listen by looking at nonverbal cues. You're listening using your ears, but also using your eyes to pay attention to nonverbal cues, to pay attention to body language and tonality and facial expressions. Those are things that help you learn how to listen more actively, how to be more present, how to notice these nonverbal cues. It's important. The fourth thing, spend time with people from different backgrounds. This helps you on the empathy side of things. It's hard to hate or have strong feelings against people that you're close to. It's hard to do that because you naturally aren't around them a bunch. But the closer you get to someone, the less judgment you have, the more that you can have empathy for where they are. You can understand where they are. So this helps with the empathy and the active listening side. Get around people that are not from your background. Spend time with people from different backgrounds, different ethnicities, different socioeconomic backgrounds. Listen to them. Active listening. Turn your ear. Actually engage. Right. The fifth thing that I have on the list is show genuine curiosity about others' experiences. So when you are talking to people from different backgrounds, be genuinely curious. I used to train our team on stuff like this. I used to say, be interested more than interesting. This is how you learn how to be a good listener, learn how to be an active listener, learn how to be interested more than just being interesting. Most people just want to talk about themselves, what makes them interesting, what they've done, their experiences, those things. That's great. When you becoming an active listener, when you're learning how to have empathy, you are actually learning how to be curious about other people's experiences. You're learning how to ask questions, be genuinely curious about it. So I just gave you 5 different ways that you can practice improving your empathy and active listening. Number 1, put away distractions when somebody else is speaking. Put your phone away, put down things that are distracting you, really turn your ear and pay attention. Number 2, listen to understand, not to respond. Listen with understanding. Okay, I understand. Process. Don't just listen to rebut, to respond, to overtake their point, to tell them that they're wrong, whatever the case is. Again, this will help you in marriage counseling, right? Any of you in long-term relationships, that'll help you there too. Third thing, notice nonverbal cues. Pay attention to the body language, the tonality, facial expressions. Actively pay attention to those things so you can pick up nonverbal cues. The fourth thing, spend time with people from different backgrounds. And the fifth thing is show genuine curiosity when you are spending time with people. Genuine curiosity. You want to be curious about what people have going on. This is how you improve that empathy and active listening. Again, the World Economic Forum is saying you're going to need these skills to stay employable. You want to keep making money in 2030. You want to have money coming in. You want to put yourself ahead of the curve. You want to be making the big dollars in 2031, in 2029, then you should be paying attention to these things and practicing them. How much are you practicing your active listening ability and your empathy? The second one that we coupled in for today was leadership and social influence. So empathy and active listening was one of them, but the other one was leadership and social influence. Why would the World Economic Forum want you to improve or have a skill set in leadership and social influence? Why do you think? Why do you think they want you to have leadership ability and social influence? Obviously, because, well, I don't know. Maybe you drop your comments in there. You tell me what you think. You tell me what you think about why leadership and social influence is important. I'll give you my take on it. Is because everything rises and falls on leadership. It's a John Maxwell quote. John C. Maxwell. Everything rises and falls on leadership. If you show me anything big, anything great, I'll show you a great leader that's behind it. So leadership is the highest paid position in the world. Leadership is the highest paid position in the world. People always wonder why the CEO makes so much money and the worker doesn't make as much money. It's because there are different levels of leadership that they get paid for. When you have to oversee other leaders and big organizational things, you get paid more than the person that just oversees their task or oversees 5 other workers or 15 other workers. It's not the same level of leadership. But leadership and social influence, they want you to be able to have this moving forward so you can guide their businesses, guide their organizations, understand how to do it. But again, as an entrepreneur, if you said, hey, well, I'm getting these skill sets, man, I'm going to go do this myself. The social influence side is your ability to sell. That's what influence is. Sales is influence. Sales is influence. Can you socially sell? That's what they're asking. Can you, and by selling, that's not just a product, that's selling a vision, selling yourself, selling, right, and influencing people to do the right things, to come on board with you, to follow your vision, to buy your product, to go to your class, to do your thing. It's the ability to influence is sales. So the World Economic Forum is telling people you need leadership and sales ability. You need leadership and sales ability, social influence and leadership ability. You need to be able to move people. You need to be able to communicate and influence people to be able to follow you or to do the things that you know is best for them. So these are skills you should be practicing. How do we improve on these leadership and social influence things? Number 1, develop emotional intelligence. Develop emotional intelligence. I was just having this conversation with a couple people about the education system and how We chose to keep our daughter out of the traditional education system because there's this shift happening, and the traditional education system just doesn't keep up. Like, it's tough for them to keep up. But we're going from this phase of IQ being important to the next generation of EQ being important. We've based our school off of IQ, how well we know things, how to read the encyclopedia, how to read a dictionary and a thesaurus, and memorize states and countries and presidents and, history facts and science and chemistry and all these IQ things, these intelligence things, these things that help you learn, right? Or things that you should know. That's how school is based. Now we're heading into a time where we have Chat GPT and Gemini and things that write papers for you and things that write presentations for you, and every answer is at your fingertips. Everything comes very quickly. So now IQ is commoditized. I know some old school teachers are like, yeah, but they still need that. I get it, but it's commoditized. My daughter can just, if she doesn't know the answer, it's more about knowing how to get the answer than actually, right, like her having the answer in her mind. She doesn't know who the 35th president was. She can just Google it and she will forever be able to have access to that. Otherwise, the information's not important for her day-to-day life. So it's no longer IQ, but EQ. Who is teaching? Empathy, active listening, right? The stuff that we're talking about, these soft skills, influence, the EQ side, the emotional intelligence quotient, right? Like that side. That's what we're headed towards. And that's why, if you want to get better at the social influence and leadership side, you got to get better on the EQ side. You got to develop some strong emotional intelligence in order to improve your social influence and your leadership ability. So that's one. Second one, encourage and uplift others publicly and privately. Encouragement, be an encourager. Again, who's teaching this stuff? Who's teaching your children how to be an encourager? I know you want them to know the capitals of the states, but like, who's teaching them how to be an encourager, how to clap for others, how to clap for themselves? That's important. And they're trying to help you as an adult make money in the next 5 years. So this is a skill set you need. How to encourage others. Don't be a hater. Encourage people. Like, uplift others publicly, privately. Like, you should, this is how you build leadership and social influence. Third thing, build trust by being consistent and transparent. Transparency earns trust. Transparency earns trust. So how do you build social influence? You build trust with people. How do you become a more effective leader? You build trust with people. Well, how do we build trust? By being consistent and transparent. That's how we build trust. We build trust with you on social media here, on LinkedIn and on YouTube, because you've never met me and you don't know who I am necessarily outside of some videos that you watch. We try to be transparent and open up our lives in other areas and other platforms so that earns your trust. So you can see we're a regular human being, just like you, have issues just like you, all the stuff. But that's how you earn trust. And that's how you build trust. It's through transparency, and that helps your social influence. You got to learn those things. So for all of you that want, again, these are things that are going to keep you employable, y'all. So even if you're not, I'm telling you to think about this like you should run a business. If you have these skill sets, you should go build a business. You find a good entrepreneur, a good idea, and we can execute on it if you already have these things. But if not, if they want you to have this at a job, that's fine. But for those of you that are not putting your stuff out on social media, or you're not posting things, or you're not being transparent with people, most times people don't trust you then. You don't have the same social influence, right? So you gotta make sure that you are building trust by being consistent and transparent. Okay. Number 4, study great leaders. Success leaves clues. Success leaves clues, ladies and gentlemen. If there are other leaders that you admire, that you're like, I really like what they've built, I really like their persona, I really like what they show to, then you should study them, study their leadership ability, study how they operate, study them. that's going to help you in your skill sets. Lastly, mentor or coach others to grow your influence. To grow your influence. Mentor or coach others to grow your influence. Mentoring and coaching people helps you to be able to grow your influence. People now trust you more because they are listening to what you're saying or what you're helping them with or how you're helping them, whatever the case is, right? Those are things to pay attention to if you want to be able to improve your leadership and social influence. So again, I gave you 5 of those also. Develop strong emotional intelligence, encourage and uplift people privately and publicly often. Build trust by being consistent and transparent. Study great leaders and their habits because success leaves clues. And then mentor or coach others to help grow your influence, y'all. These are some of the skills. These are some of the soft skills. These are some of the areas that you got to focus on. Again, we're just reading off of the World Economic Forum. I'm not creating this stuff myself. I'm not saying that I believe like I made up all these things and I'm some guru of the future. I'm just taking what the World Economic Forum said they recommend that you start paying attention to. And they recommend that you start paying attention to these soft skills. Today, we talked about empathy and active listening and your social influence and your leadership ability. Those are 2 areas that you can practice and focus on and be intentional about if you want to go make more money. Remember, that's why we're doing this. It's not just, oh, that's nice to have. No, for you to go make more money year after year, to have skill sets that are relevant to the marketplace, that bring you an income more than what you have now. This is what you got to adapt to. This is what you got to change to. I'm excited to share it with y'all. Take it serious. If you got questions about it, let me know. Reach out. Let's have a conversation around what you need to do to grow these skill sets, because these are the skill sets that are going to completely help you transform your financial life moving forward, y'all. Every Friday, we're here to dive in to our another morning, BizBuzz Live, where we're talking all things finance, y'all, how to get your cash flow right. All right, y'all. So later, until next week, take care.